What happens when silence speaks louder than words? One girl's calm response to a cruel joke changes everything. Stay tuned to find out how Maya's quiet defiance turns the tables in the most unexpected way. It was a cold afternoon when Maya stepped into her usual coffee shop, the one she'd been visiting for months. The soft hum of chatter, the comforting scent of brewed coffee, and the quiet clink of cups always made her feel at home. But today, things felt different. As soon as she walked in, she could sense eyes on her. It wasn't unusual. She was used to being noticed, but not in the way she wanted. At the corner table, a group of students from her high school were sitting. Jason, a popular white boy known for his sharp tongue, was at the center of the group. As Maya waited for her order, she felt his gaze on her. Then, as if it was a joke, he called out in a mocking voice, "Hey, look! The queen of the coffee shop graces us with her presence." His friends snickered, and for a moment, the room felt smaller. Maya stood still, her face unreadable, her eyes downcast. She was used to these kinds of comments, but this one stung more than usual. She could feel the heat rise in her cheeks, the frustration bubbling inside, but she did not react. Instead, she calmly took her coffee and walked toward the farthest corner of the room, sitting down quietly. The whispers and laughter followed her, but she chose to ignore them. She was a master at tuning it all out. As Maya sat, her book open in front of her, she could still hear the soft laughter from Jason and his group. They were loud, their words cutting through the air like knives. Maya focused on her coffee, her mind trying to escape the discomfort of their presence. But what happened next was something she hadn't expected. Jason, the boy who always had something to say, suddenly went quiet. He looked at her, really looked at her, and something changed. It wasn't the usual glance that quickly shifted away. No. This time he stared at Maya with a look she couldn't quite decipher. For a few moments he just watched her. His friends were still laughing, but he didn't join in. It was as if her silence had made him uneasy. Maya kept her gaze fixed on her book, not acknowledging his stare. She knew that her calmness was unsettling him. That's the thing about silence. It speaks volumes when words fail. Jason shifted uncomfortably in his seat. He couldn't understand it. Maya wasn't angry. She wasn't crying. She wasn't shouting at him. She was simply sitting there, not moved by his words, not shaken by his laughter. Jason's friends continued with their mocking, but he wasn't paying attention anymore. His mind was racing. Why wasn't Maya reacting? He'd seen her around school, quiet, reserved, always alone, but never had he expected her to be so unaffected. A nagging feeling began to grow inside him. He had made fun of Maya before, like many others, but this time felt different. He had expected her to fight back or at the very least get upset. But no, she didn't give him the satisfaction. Jason excused himself from the table and walked towards the counter. He ordered his coffee, trying to push the discomfort away, but it lingered. When his coffee was ready, he glanced over at Maya. She hadn't moved an inch, her focus still on her book, as though the world around her didn't exist. And for the first time, Jason felt a strange sense of guilt creeping in. Was this really who he wanted to be? The guy who made fun of people just for his own amusement? Later, as Jason prepared to leave, he saw Maya still sitting in her corner, as calm as ever. His friends were busy chatting among themselves, but Jason's mind was elsewhere. His footsteps slowed as he approached her table. He wasn't sure what he was doing, but something inside him told him he needed to do this. "Maya," he said, his voice quieter than usual. She looked up, meeting his eyes for the first time. There was no anger there, just a quiet strength that made him feel small. I just wanted to say I'm sorry," he muttered, unsure of what else to say. Maya didn't immediately respond. Instead, she just nodded slightly, acknowledging his words. There was no confrontation, No dramatic speech, just a simple moment of understanding between them. Jason stood there for a moment, feeling the weight of his actions more than he had in years. He turned around, heading for the door, his mind swirling with questions he didn't have answers to. But one thing was certain. Maya had made an impact on him, more than he could have ever expected. The next day at school, Jason found himself thinking about Maya more than he cared to admit. He thought about how calm she had been, how she hadn't let his words or actions affect her. It had been a lesson he never asked for, but needed. From that day forward, Jason didn't joke at other people's expense. He didn't laugh at things that weren't funny. He learned the power of silence and how sometimes saying nothing at all can speak volumes. Maya, on the other hand, never brought up what happened. She continued with her life, walking through the halls with the same quiet strength, but now there was something different in the way she carried herself. She knew her worth wasn't determined by the mockery of others. She had proven that silence could be more powerful than any words could ever be. This story of Maya's quiet defiance and Jason's realization shows the power of choosing peace over confrontation. Maya didn't need to fight back to win. She simply needed to be herself. And in doing so, she made a lasting impact on those around her. Sometimes, standing still in the face of adversity speaks louder than anything we could say.